KC9VKV from Whiskey Yankee 8
WY station, you're in and out, but try your call again.
KC9VKV, this is Whiskey Yankee 8
Kind of in and out. Come back and talk to me for just a minute, and let me see if I can find an SDR in your neighborhood, Roger.
Okay, Jim, KC9VKV from WY8D. The name here is STEW, Sierra Tango Echo Whiskey, short for Stewart. And I am located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Wonder how the copy is now, over.
Oh, outstanding. It's like you hit a KW there in that last transmission, Roger.
Well, actually I do. The band conditions obviously are not good, so I am running 1 KW here. Jim, over.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, you got to. On a day like today, if you're going to be heard, you best be running a 500 to a KW, because there's a big black hole out there, Roger.
Yeah, I noticed that. I've been listening for a while, and the band is pretty much quiet all the way through. So, yeah, Mother Nature is celebrating, that's sure. But, yeah, you sound good here regardless. You sound very good here in the Grand Rapids, over.
Oh, Roger. Now, I just brought you up on my Milford, PA. You're about 2 dB hotter on that than you were on my local antenna. So, Milford, PA, SDR strikes again. Beautiful. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with SDRs, but, hey, whatever works for you, that's all that counts, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the way I look at SDRs. It just gives you another option. So we run 4 SDRs, Rochester, Raleigh, Alexandria, and Milford, PA. And so they give me 4 more options over my local antenna. Come back with your call sign phonetically one more time.
Okay, yeah, the call sign here is Whiskey Yankee 8 Delta. Whiskey Yankee 8 Delta, over.
Roger. And what's Stu, Roger, and what's the radio you're running?
Running here the ICOM IC756 Pro 2, the Pro 2, and that runs into the Ameritron AL80B. Running about 1 KW here, and the antenna is a 412 beam at about 50 feet. Has the 40 meter additional elements there, over.
Roger. Now, you might be just hitting your ALC a little too hard. I could hear a little distortion there, so that's usually in the ALC. But I wouldn't think you have to crank back much. You've got an ALC meter, Roger?
Yes, I've got ALC. I'm looking at the ALC right now, and it shows, I would say just a little over 3/4 scale.
Roger. Now, are you running out? Well, then it would get back to your compressor. How much compression? Is it all internal, or do you have an outboard compressor?
Well, no, it's all internal on the radio, but I also am running an 8-band audio equalizer, that W2IHY board, with a Heil PR40, I think it is.
Roger that. Now, so you could have some front-end distortion. You should be that input mic level. Is that a real pot, or is that a figment of schematic?
You kind of faded there right at the very end, Jim. I didn't quite understand.
Is your mic gain a real control pot?
On the radio or on the equalizer?
on the radio. What I'm thinking is you might be overdriving your front end. If you have an actual pot, you want that input pot to be at about 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30 clock time on your pot, as far as where it is. If you have your mic gain turned way down, say around just barely cracked open, then you could be overdriving your audio input, coming in hot, like maybe 30 dB as opposed minus 30 as opposed to minus 50. Roger.
Okay, yep, I totally understand what you're saying there. Yeah, my mic gain is just cracked, just a little bit. It's not even a quarter way, a quarter up. So more than likely, then, what you're saying is I need to adjust the gain of the equalizer under. And that's a little bit difficult to do. It's not impossible. It just takes a little bit of ingenuity, I guess you want to call it. There's a couple. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you're probably familiar with the W2IHY board, but there's a couple pots underneath there, and just have to get a screwdriver in there and turn them one way or the other. So you're saying that it's probably a little too hot on the output of the equalizer, if I understand you correctly.
Yeah, Roger. It sounds like that. Now I have a circuit for that. It's called a double bridge circuit. You know what a bridge is? A bridge in, bridge out. It's a light load coming in and going out. And the circuit actually is it's a 10K ohm bridge out, 10K ohm resistor on the main audio coming out, and then another 10K going into your mic level. Okay, so you have two 10Ks back to back. And then what you do is you put another resistor right where those two join themselves, and then that can be whatever resistance you need to bring that mic pot up to about the 10:30, 11 o'clock position, somewhere in there, that that it's not going to be too hot. And that resistor that's between the two 10Ks can be whatever you need to get your pot audio at the correct level, because whatever you do, you'll always be bridged out 10kc and bridged in 10kc. So that resistor in the middle can be whatever you need it to be, and it won't affect the circuit at all, but just as far as the audio is concerned. Roger?
Roger? Okay, yeah, very good. I'll have to look into that. I personally would not want to do that myself, but I do have sources that could do that for me. Okay, well, I will have to look at exactly where the settings are underneath the board. And like I said, that is not an easy little thing to switch to the way the thing is set up here. So, but I will look at that and kind of play around with it a little bit and see what we can do. But overall, though, other than that, yeah, my mic gain here is just barely up. So I would like that, which would make sense. That would totally make sense to me. That it's a little hot coming out of there. Over.
Yeah, Roger, that's what it sounds like. So you take care of that, and your EQ sounds really good. Right now, your dynamic range looks to be about a dB or a dB and a half. So you ideally you want that to be not quite so hot, and your audio becomes more transparent at about a 3 dB dynamic range. Dynamic range is the difference between the loudest signal and the weakest signal of your audio, and unprocessed audio dynamic range is somewhere around 10 dB. If I were looking at you talking into a microphone and looking, I have a VU meter, and if it was tied directly to that amplifier as you spoke unprocessed, my meter would be banging around there, and it would be down at the bottom on the left side, and then on your peaks you would be up at zero level, which is like straight up on that dB VU meter, and then so so when we start compressing that signal, we start reducing the dynamic range, and through just a little bit, usually like a 3 out of 10 compression, and then a little bit of limiting up on the ALC circuit, and we usually wind up with about a 3 dB dynamic range, which means that your average percent of peak modulation would be between 80 and 85%. Roger?
Roger. Okay, yeah, very good, Jim. Totally understand what you're saying there. Okay, very good. I will do some adjusting here, and possibly next week or so get back with you on that. So thanks for your time and patience, especially with the way the band is today. You have to have some patience, right? But thank you, and we'll hear from other stations calling as well, so I don't want to stay in here too much longer here, but certainly do appreciate the information. Yeah, KC9VKV from WY8D, over.
Roger, Roger. Well, let me say 3s for now. And Stu, you're sounding good. Get that distortion underhand and under control. And what it sounds like, it did sound like you were hitting your ALC too hard. It sounds like your the limiter is a quick attack and release limiter, and if you push it to about the best thing you can get out of a limiter is about 3 or 4 dB of limiting. When you pass that, then you start getting distortion, because the attack and release time of the limiter is so fast that it just runs out of capability, and then you're into distortion. Unlike a compressor, that you could probably get 20 dB of compression out of it because it's so slow attack and so slow a release time that you can get that. But to really get that fat signal, you need 3 or so dB of limiting. So if you get a chance, maybe check back in next Friday, and we'll compare notes, and we'll listen again and see if you've got that magic distortion under control. So 3s for now, and we'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV, the Qso-Vlog network, and gosh, we're rapidly approaching turning into let's see, Funkin', I think we do, at 5 o'clock. We've got about 5 minutes still. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. KC9VKV.